So in this video, we're going to be going over the elements of design as well as principles of design matrix. This is going to be applicable to the shuttle pin. This is going to be the next project we're going to be working on in this class. We are going to be modeling this in our CAD software Onshape. And so it's very, very important that we understand the visual elements as well as principles that are used for this design. After this, we are also going to end up, for the next class day, of course, we're going to end up performing a functional analysis where you're going to take this apart and actually understand how it works. However, that will not be happening today. It's just going to be a visual analysis of this for today. You're going to be working with your partner and you're going to be creating a slideshow. So check out Canvas to see all the details on that. In this video, however, I just want to introduce the matrix that we're going to be writing in all the information in regards to the elements of design as well as principles of design for this. So let's go ahead and let's begin. So as you can see, we got the shuttle pin here. This is a carabiner clip. So this is also called the carabiner pin. And so there we have that. We can also end up pushing these ink cartridge switches down so that we can get different pen colors that we can end up using, or ink colors that we can end up using. And so as you can see, that's how that functions. And we also have, so the majority of this is plastic, smooth plastic. However, whenever it comes to this grip, this is like a rough texture rubber. And so it's kind of squishy too, so that we get a nice grip while holding this pen and using it. And then basically we have this curved line that just ends up ending abruptly here at the tip of the pen so that we know that that is the tip of the pen there. All right. So let's go ahead and let's begin to look at this. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through the elements of design with you all. And we're going to talk about how we use that design element for these. So let's go ahead, let's begin. So in terms of the use of the design element of lines, what I'm really saying there is we see a lot of smooth curved lines. This kind of gives it a sleek and modern look. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to write down here, smooth, curved lines, yeah, for a sleek and modern look. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's move on to the color. So color, in terms of the color of this, we really do have a lot of differing colors. It puts a lot of emphasis on all of these different features of this, right? But we do have a white base. So I'm going to go ahead and put down that white base. And then we've got an orange clip. So orange clip is the actual carabiner clip there. Orange clip and grip. And then we've got various ink switches. Various colored ink switches. So we put various colored ink switches there. Okay. Now, in terms of the value, remember value is if we have differing shades, right? If it's darker shades, lighter shades, if there's any faint variations of color as well. What I'm going to end up recognizing here is, although this is orange and this is also orange, it actually does look like this value. This is a bit darker shade of orange for the clip than the grip. So we're going to end up putting that in for here. Bit darker. No, those not the shade was a color special of orange and that's for the clip, as in the carabiner clip there. In terms of the shape, whenever you look at this, probably one of the first things that you'll end up noticing is the oval top for that actual carabiner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put oval top for carabiner. And then what I'm also going to end up pointing out here too is that we do have like an organic curve base shape. So I'm going to put organic curved base shape in there as well. Okay. Now in terms of the form here, I am noticing that this is cylindrical. That's what I'm seeing a lot of this, almost conical, like sections of a cone, almost is what this looked like. And I'm also noticing that all the forms are rounded out too. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to put rounded. Yeah. I'm going to also put cylindrical. Then I'm also going to include in there conical. And so that's almost like sections of those two, right? For those. We also talked about yesterday how there's space, and space can be used to have a profound impact on the design. We have both positive space, which are for these features here, but we also have negative space for this carabiner clip or this carabiner switch. And so we can end up using, we can write this down, positive for features. And then we can put negative for carabiner section. Okay, so positive space for all of these features, and then the negative for the actual carabiner, so that we can, use this clip and we can put this on like string or some other attachment points. So we've got the negative space there. Now, in terms of this texture, as we were saying, the texture, we have lots of smooth texture. However, whenever it comes to this rubber grip, it is a rougher texture, so that we can grab onto that, have a better grip for it. And so what we can do here is we can do smooth, plastic. Remember, if something is smooth, it reflects light. So as you can see there, that's really reflecting the light. However, we do have that rough or almost matte rubber there. So we can put rough rubber grip. Okay. So that's us completing all these elements of design and talking about how they're used in this. What I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to give you guys 2 examples as well. And then after my 2 examples, I want you to write in an additional 5 of these examples, so that in total, within this section here, starting from this row down to this row, you'll have 7 total on here. So what I want to talk about first is the contrast. So I'm going to talk about the contrast with the texture. As we were talking about, there's a smooth texture used all throughout this design. However, whenever it comes to this rubber grip, we have the rough texture. And so in terms of the texture, we have contrast. So I'm going to line this up where texture, and then we're going to go to the row of contrast here. We're going to go to this cell right here. So I'm going to say smooth plastic. And rough grip. So we're going to see, so there's a contrast in those textures. So the body plastics and then the grips. What I'm also going to end up pointing out here too is just another one in contrast. What I really end up noticing with this is that we do have a lot of contrast with these features on here, right? So the grip, then also the ink switches, and then also the carabiner clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put contrast down here, and I'm going to put contrast for color. So I'm going to put white base differs from, grip, clip, and ink switch colors. Okay. So now, as you're working with your partner today, you're going to end up filling out 5 more additional cells in this matrix. And you're going to be pointing out how those principles of designs are used for each of these elements of design. Once you do have this matrix completed, you're going to end up uploading a picture of this on that presentation that we're working on in Canvas. So please do make sure that you see the Canvas assignment. But anyways, that is our little introduction to the visual analysis of our shuttle pen. Hope that was helpful. Catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.